Buddy, how are you doing? This is Kareem again with SpeakYourMindNow.com, and I want to talk today specifically about podcasts. What are they, and what are some essential elements to keep them interesting? So let's start with what are podcasts? They're audio broadcasts on the internet for a specific target market. So say you're in dating and relationships, you want to have a podcast on how people can meet and can socialize with each other to create lasting relationships. And these are specifically audio, there's no video. Now I know a lot of people already know that, so just bear with me here. So what are some key factors to making the most interesting podcast? This is stuff you want to know before you start. First, you want to know, who are your listeners? Are these people who are trying to find relationships? Are these people who are trying to make more money? Are these people who are looking to travel around the world? What are you inspiring your audience to do, or what are you helping them with? So know your listeners, know the people that you want to tune in and say, wow, Kareem or Bill or Jim has a really good message about dating and relationships, about making money, about traveling the world, about weight loss. Whatever your target is, know who your target audience, your listeners are. Second thing, including your listeners, you want to know your competition. What is the competition saying and doing? Now, a lot of people overlook this and just do their own thing, but I like to listen to people in my area of entrepreneurship and different ideas that they're working on, so I know what the competition's up to, and I can get some ideas from them as well. So know your listeners, know your competition. Also, you want to do a bit of SEO work, search engine optimization. Now, a lot of people will ask me, why is that important? And that's how you get found on Google. Now, I can't go into all of that here. There's a lot of books, there's a lot of material on that. But make sure to look into a little bit of SEO. You don't have to go crazy with every keyword. But SEO is basically the idea of matching keywords to what you're working on so search engines can find you. That's how I define it. And I'm not the SEO expert. So know your listeners, know your competition, SEO. You also want to have a great sales pitch. It's not enough to have listeners. You want to have the ability to let them know what you're going to do for them. So an example for me, I say I help new podcasters and YouTubers make the most influential videos they can with my voice or with their voice. Meaning that I give voice training and personal development training to new YouTubers and podcasters so they know what they're doing, so they know what I'm talking about. It's not enough to have great listeners. You have to let them know what destination you're going to take them on. So it's part in tying back to the first point I made. Also, after all of that's said and done, you want to plan for your next show. You always want to have the next show somewhere in your mind so you keep having good material and you keep having interesting material for the next show. What are you going to talk about next week? You don't have to plan it months and months in advance, but at least plan it a week in advance would help. Last but not least, have a great marketing strategy. How are you going to get this all out to people? You research your competition, you know your listeners, you know what you can do for your listeners. How are you going to sell it? How are you going to get it on the internets and make it famous? Now, you can do that with SEO, you can do that with guest posting, you can do that through the Entrepreneur Power Hour. There's a lot of different ways you can do that. So look at your marketing consultants or do some research on internet marketing. Last but not least is a little tip. This is not something you have to do, but you can do an RSS feed, and that can also help with your podcast. That's not a requirement, I would say, but it's definitely something that's integral to helping you out along the way. It can help with getting your stuff on iTunes, and it can help with a feed. RSS stands for really simple syndication, by the way, for those of you guys who didn't know. So know your listeners, know your competition, do a little bit of SEO work, plan your next show, have a great sales pitch, and have a marketing strategy, and you can talk about whatever you want on your podcasts. And also get Speak Your Mind Now training to have the most powerful voice and message behind that voice. And I'm telling you, your podcast will soar to the top. You will have a very interesting show that a lot of people can benefit from. This is Kareem with SpeakYourMindNow.com, and let's make the world your audience through great podcasts.